Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for my client Luka's vlog. We started the week off with a close grip bench press, and I believe he got 165 kilograms here. So Luka's training, a lot is really a lot like my other lifters. I don't think people understand that good programming is good programming. That we basically plug and play volume, accessory work, slightly different lifts, but the concept is the same. Concept's the same all the way around. For an intermediate all the way up to an elite lifter, it's just that volumes have to be adjusted quite a bit. With more elite lifters, we're fighting more with what is the minimum volume they need to adapt versus what can they recover from. There's a bigger fight to be had there. Right, there's less wiggle room to be had. With an intermediate lifter, not so much. They just need to be consistent and do these things, and you have a lot more wiggle room. So someone like him, the programming looks really similar, and they can continue to get stronger this way. So in his case, after we do the flat bench, after we do the max bench, we do flat bench, and then I have him superset it with lat pull downs. Now, he's not used to this sort of training. He's not used to doing a whole lot of tens. He's definitely not used to things like supersets. So what we're doing here, this helps get him into shape. Okay, the guy's real strong. He's got good genetics. He's built a big base already. But height is absolutely not a negative. It really isn't. These strange ideas that people come up with. They clearly haven't coached many lifters. So, in his case, though, he is willing to eat. He's putting down the food, putting in the training. And I don't want to downplay genetics, though, here, because Luka is obviously a very genetically gifted lifter. He doesn't have an enormous training age, yet he is extremely competitive. And what I'm going to do is continue to refine that. We're going to continue to refine that and continue to make him a better lifter. But the key is to do it injury-free. And I think that's the big difference here. You can take guys like him and make them strong easily, but can you do it without getting them hurt? And this is why we come back over to, we coach him playing the long game. We do the same stuff that we would do for someone like me or any masters lifter, people who we need to keep in the game a long time. We cater to the hypertrophy end. We focus on very specifically apply training volume. We focus on muscle mass instead of continual just ramping up the nervous system, neural drive. Because you'll see a lot of that, and you see that happen frequently in powerlifting. Coaches will take someone who's pretty gifted, they'll focus on those things, they'll get elite in a much shorter time than other people can do it, but then they don't have the tissue to support it. They get injured, they burn out. They're great for a short time. And I don't want to see that happen with Luka. It's one reason Nikola brought him in. They're obviously friends. My client Nikola brought Luka in and said, hey, I want you to coach him. You need to coach this guy, coach. And so he brought him in, and we're doing that. And for me as a coach, when I'm dealing with a lifter of this potential, I have to be very, very careful. And you have to make sure that they're listening and doing the things that you need them to do. Because again, you'll get a lot of lifters who are stubborn. This is something I notice as a coach. You get lifters who are stubborn. They'll continue to do things you tell them not to do. And they end up getting hurt. They end up getting injured easier. It's very unfortunate. Because sometimes by the time they start listening, even if you can get them to change what they're doing, the damage is already done. And it can be heartbreaking as a coach when you see injuries, right? Like touch and go benching is a big one. I'm not gonna go into the full details here, but I just got the news that one of my lifters who has struggled for a long time to get him to pause bench, he wouldn't. And then he hadn't been sending me footage lately. I've been sending him his programming. He's not sending footage or feedback. He claims he's been pausing Torpec. And I just got the word this morning. So it's like, things like that can get frustrating. because you've got to get these lifters to listen. In his case, though, what else did we do here? Max effort lower. We did a deficit deadlift, 280 kilograms off a deep deficit. He wasn't happy with that. It was a rough training week for him early on. He was dealing with a lot of fatigue. He's like, on a good day, I could have come in and done better. And I'm like, but that's okay. We have to take those training maxes as they come. All right, we're all going to have off days. We're all going to have bad days. Did you come in and pull a heavy weight for you? Did you strain? Was the training max, 95%? Was it better? Well, then we'll take it. As long as we strained against a heavy weight, we're okay. We don't have to come in and PR every single time. The only times we look at that whole PRing every single time is when you run the really elaborate version of conjugate, where people have all the different bars, bands, chains, and then their PRs are done for psychological purposes. And they're done for psychological purposes. But here's the thing that we look at too. Training maxes tell us where we are on our fatigue also. In other words, if you come in and your training max is 10 kilograms less than you think it should have been, right, based upon training history, then what's going on? Well, you've got some fatigue that needs to be addressed. And he knew he had some extra fatigue. This happens. But we get further into the week, and that training fatigue is now dissipated because he's up here doing really strong good mornings, right? He's added weight to them later in the week. And we would expect him to be strong at good mornings. We would absolutely expect that. Although looking at his footage coming for this next week, because he's already started training. While I'm getting this vlog ready, we're going to need to address his quad strength and stuff next, right? Because that's holding back his squats. But I'll let you guys finish up watching his training, but I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.